Okay, so let's start our today's discussion. First of all, we'll do recap of the previous lecture in which we have seen switch multiple selection structure. Actually, when real time we have been presented with some menu, press 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 for this, as we previously discussed real world examples of going to an ATM machine in which we have been presented with a set of buttons. Press this button for money withdrawal, press second button for transaction, press third button for your banking statement, so on and so forth. Likewise, if you call a cellular company, you listen to a menu, press 1 for this, 2 for this, 3 for this, 0 for operator, so on and so forth. So in order to implement such real world scenarios, we normally prefer multiple selection structure and typically switch. We can do the same job with if else as well, but normally switch selection structure is preferred in such scenarios. And afterwards, in later portion of our lecture, we will see logical operators and or increment decrement operators, a reiteration of assignment operator. We should not confuse it with the double equal to sign, or the double equal to sign, or the equivalency operator should not be confused with the assignment operator. And lastly, a repetition structure if we have further time to elaborate. So, discussing the last lecture's problem, in which program have to read certain grades from the user, starting from alpha, beta, C, D, E and F. We have to read these grades. So actually we will prompt the user to enter the grades. User will enter the grades in terms of alpha, beta, C plus, whatever the menu is. Afterwards, by the end, our program should display how many alphas are there, beta plus, C, D, E and F. So this is the simple program. We have to implement it using switch selection structure. So if we just straightly go to the output, what type of output we actually want? We want this type of output. We want to prompt the user only once at the top. Enter the letter grades. So far we have been discussing data types in terms of integer, float, double. So why not to discuss characters? Anything with a single quote. It could be a hash sign, it could be a punctuation mark, it could be a question mark, or anything like that. It's term, it's a character. And in C++, we have a data type which indicates that we are going to declare a variable whose data type is character. So we will follow this keyword. So character twice. Now twice is the variable and its data type is character. So inside this twice variable we can input any of these as characters. So as our program indicates that we have to read grades, letter grades from the user. Supposingly alpha, beta, C, D, F, these grades. We have prompted the user enter the letter grades, or enter -1 to end them. We have formalized our sentinel value with end of file character. EOF is end of file character. So we should not confuse our input that whether we can enter -1 or not. So we have a separate character that we discussed yesterday in the previous lecture, control Z or control D. It's actually end of file character. And it depends upon your operating system whether it's control Z or control D. It could be either of these. So normally it's control Z. So till the time user is entering the grades, your program should function, should be working. For example, user has entered A. Have you prompted the user to enter capital A or small a? So as a programmer, we should be handling this exception. Either user enters small a or user enters capital A. Respective counter should be incremented. In case of A or small a. Small a means alpha, or capital A means the same, alpha. So keep on entering Over here we are not prompting the user time and time again, isn't it? You have prompted the user once, so it feels more logical, isn't it? That you prompt the user enters the grades, you again prompt the same thing. It depends upon our programming tactic, that we just give the heading at the top and the program continues in the loop. So we are getting input grades from the user. If we have any invalid grade which is not being catered for, so it should display incorrect grade. Enter a new grade. Program continues, keep on entering the grades until the time user enters end of file character, which is Control Z. As soon as user has entered the end of file character, which is indicated end of data entry, respective counters for each letter grade should be displayed. So, पता लग जाएगा faculty member has entered the grades, how many alphas are there, beta, C, C plus, and D. You can scale it up. It's not only related to the result system, it could be your type of books in the library. How many books are related to computer engineering, to mechanical engineering, mechatronics, so on and so forth. It could be your patients in the hospital. How many patients for particular disease are there? It could be your aeroplane management system. How many passengers are there in the economy class? How many there in the business class? And so forth, so on and so forth. So you can scale it up to any. It could be an hospital. How many computer engineering, mechanical engineering, mechatronics are residing? You can deploy these techniques elsewhere. So any idea from your side? Let's keep switch apart. So far we have gained the knowledge of if else. How we should proceed first in order to implement this? How many counters are required? कितने काउंटर चाहिए हमें? अगर ये ग्रेड्स हैं आपके पास, जितने नंबर ऑफ ग्रेड्स हैं उतने काउंट. It's a sentinel control problem or a counter control problem. User can stop at any time. It's a counter control problem. We know the number of repetitions in advance or not? Number of repetitions are not known to us. User can stop at any time. When you have seen this thing, you have to answer नहीं करने चाहिए. When we have a -1, तो counter control repetition होती है sentinel control. Sentinel control. Counter control तो आपको पहले से बता देता है कितनी repetitions करनी है. So it's a sentinel control repetition problem. So let's proceed with the coding. So over here we have an input. We have got the input from the user. We will get input from the user in this grade. These are the letter grades: alpha, beta, C, D, and F. We have initialized their counters as 0. If user has entered any of these grades, respective counter should be incremented. So before starting so do we require any looping in this program or not? कोई looping चाहिए आपको? Loop करना पड़ेगा? Of course, multiple students तो आपको loop तो लगानी पड़ेगी. So first of all, you have prompted the user enter the letter grade or enter E or F to end. तो अगेन डिसीजन मेकिंग किस पे हो रही है, किस वेरिएबल पे हो रही है? ग्रेड. आइदर एंटर अ वैलिड ग्रेड और एंटर EOF, or in other words we have been studying -1. Control Z is EOF, -1 would be, आप इसको -1 भी कह सकते हो. इनपुट आपने करनी है ग्रेड पे. It could be anything from A to F, or it could be so either it's a valid input or it's a invalid. So you have prompted the user will see this thing once and before entering the loop. If you put this thing inside the loop, every time this will be displayed. Fine?
Yes, sir.
तो हमने before entering the loop में जाने से पहले हमने heading दे दिया at the top कि आप letter grade enter करें, ये आपके पास option either of these. User will get the input in this line number 12 grade value over here. Now you have the input for the first student. While में आपकी condition क्या होगी? कब तक लूप चलाएं? उस वक्त तक चलाएं जब इनपुट वैलिड है, isn't it? तो उसको हम while में किस तरह लिखेंगे? While grade not equal to loop started. While grade is not equal to end of file character. Now you have the grade of first student. Switch. First student the grade, let's say alpha. Switch grade की value. इसका syntax है. Switch is a keyword within brackets. हमने last time discuss किया था. वो variable आ जाता है जिस पे आपने decimating कर दिया. So grade is that variable. Whatever the grade value is as a character. Switch starts from here. So have we prompted the user to enter capital A or small a?
No.
So case keyword single quotes alpha case single quotes A. What does this mean? कोई भी हो. If we just recall the structure of while discussing syntax, we have already discussed case value 2 or case value 3, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Taken if variable is value 1 or value 2, those set of statements. Real world में इसकी क्या एग्जांपल है? आप एटीएम पे गए हैं, आपको कहा गया है कि ये बटन 1 प्रेस करें या 2 प्रेस करें, आपको बैलेंस ही शो होगा. This or that. So over here you are, as a programmer, you are catering for this exception that user has entered capital A or small a, capital B or small b, so on and so forth. So discussing this, so either of this becomes true, either small a or capital A. Let's suppose user has entered capital A, so this is true. Perform this case related actions. What are the actions? यहाँ पर एक और नई चीज हमने देख रहे हैं. We have seen a equals to a plus 1. We have seen a plus equals to 1. We have seen a plus plus and plus plus a. All of them are equivalent and they will add 1 to the variable a. इसमें you can use either of these. The simplest one, as a programmer, you can use these or any of these. So we have used this format over here. We have incremented the respective counter. Now once the counter has been incremented, next statement is another keyword, break. It simulates else. If we have nested if else, it simulates else part. Else पे जब आप आते हैं, if अगर true हो जाए, तो next else आपको क्या करता है? क्या वो next if में जाने देते हैं? It allows you to check the next if? No. It will take you out of the if structure completely. So same is the purpose of break over here. If you have met some case, the case is true, you have performed its related actions, means you have incremented 1 to the A count, break. No need to check rest of the cases. Just come out of the switch structure, not the loop. Switch से बाहर आ, ये जो है, इससे आप इमीडिएट बाहर आ जाएंगे. आप नेक्स्ट चेक नहीं होगा, क्योंकि जिस तरह मैंने कहा स्टूडेंट फर्स्ट ग्रेड की वैल्यू एंटर हुई अल्फा, इंक्रीमेंट हो गया. डू वी नीड टू चेक अदर्स? नो. जस्ट ब्रेक. ब्रेक इज द कीवर्ड. इट्स अ ब्रेक स्टेटमेंट. It can be used anywhere in the program. It's not only fixed with switch. It's a separate statement. Break statement. Whenever there is a break, it takes you out of that structure. So let's suppose user has pressed B. तो ये false था, क्या प्रेस हुआ फर्स्ट स्टूडेंट के केस में? B नहीं था, आगे चलते हैं। थोड़ी हम इसमें चेंज करेंगे, वो हम अभी डिस्कस करते हैं। अभी B से आगे चलते हैं। D, F, यूजर ने A B C D F में से कुछ प्रेस नहीं किया, यूजर has pressed enter. So your program is catching that exception or not? Instead of entering A, B, C, D and F, user has pressed enter sign, or user has pressed tab, or user has pressed space. Any of these, क्या करें? ये आपने एक्सेप्शन हैंडल की है, तो यूजर ने तो ऐसी चीज प्रेस कर दी तो क्या करें? नाउ यूजर हैज नॉट एंटर्ड अल्फा बीटा सी एफ सी डी एफ और एनी ऑफ दीज, यूजर हैज एंटर्ड के, क्या होगा? नन ऑफ द केसेस आर मैचिंग, दिस विल हैंडल. व्हाट विल बी डिस्प्लेड? इनकरेक्ट लेटर ग्रेड्स. अगेन लूप के अंदर आप दोबारा उसको एंटर करें. तो एक तरीका तो यह है कि इसके बाद ब्रेक हो जाएगा यहाँ से. एक तरीका तो यह है कि यहीं पर ही सीन ले लें फॉर नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट, इजंट इट? गेट सीन फॉर नेक्स्ट स्टूडेंट और व्हाइल लूप आपकी कंटिन्यू हो जाए, which we already know. The second method is, why not to get C out, C in within the condition. अलग से सीन लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, सी आउट तो आपने लिख लिया. Now let me elaborate this. Normally while writing addition we write while grade is not equal to your. इस ग्रेड को अगर हम एक्सपेंड कर लें सिर्फ रन टाइम पे scene dot get, this function will get input of a character from the user at runtime and assign it to. यही एक्चुअली हमने काम किया, इसकी जगह इसको रिप्लेस कर, isn't it? Not equal to end of file. तो रन टाइम पे आपका character input हो जाएगा, ग्रेड में आ जाएगा and you can check whether it's valid or not. So for second student we have the value of grade. Check the cases, increment the respective counter. You are inside the loop again. Enter value for the next student. Upon pressing enter, the respective counter will be incremented. Again you are here. Again get the value. So how this will look like? Which we have already discussed the output. इसी के अगर आप आउटपुट देख लें तो our program will behave like this. Before entering, you have prompted the user, enter the letter grades or enter your file. Now you are inside while. User has pressed valid value, A counter has been incremented. Program goes to while. You get the character value again, which is B. Grade B. B counter has been incremented. Again program goes at the top, get the value C, respective counter gets incremented. User has pressed E, default, incorrect grade, enter a new grade. Again your program go to, after executing break, your program go to here, while the condition. दोबारा उसमें इनपुट करें valid grade D, A, small b, end of file character. As you have pressed end of file character, your loop over here at line number 65 will get broken. Now what's after the loop gets broken? Just display the respective counters, totals of each letter grades. And we can have our output like this. इसमें आप देख सकते हैं F एक ही दफ़ा आया है, A, is it small or capital? It has been catered for. So this is first type of a program in which we have utilized a multiple selection structure inside a repetition structure, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this is very much allowed. While के अंदर switch use करना, switch के अंदर while use करना, switch के अंदर while के साथ if else, everything is allowed. Depend upon our requirement. जिस तरह अब हमारी requirement थी कि हमने number of books check करनी, जिस तरह मैंने आपको पहले बताया, scale it up to number of each type of patients, each type of books, each type of students. It could be anything. So you can program those things accordingly. इस प्रोग्राम में कोई चीज़ समझने वाली आपको ना दी।
सर आपने जैसे वो कहा था कि जैसे हम स्पेस बनाएंगे या फिर टैब बनाएंगे तो वो ब्रेक हो जाएगा, तो इसमें हम ये वाली कंडीशन में डाल सकते हैं अगर लेट्स सपोज टोटल नंबर्स हमने हैं वो 100 हैं, तो अगर हम 101 एंटर करें तो वो ब्रेक कर दे?
बिल्कुल लगा सकते हैं, प्रोग्रामिंग है, n नंबर ऑफ कंडीशंस, एक्सटेंडेड वर्जन है आपके पास, ओपन सोर्स है, कुछ भी कर लें, everything is possible. It is not fixed for only these cases. You can add 15 more cases to this. You can make it a counter control program, so on and so forth. Anything is possible. Okay, next, at times we come across some scenarios in which we have to execute certain steps or set of statements based upon value of couple of variables. It could be couple, it could be more than couple of variables. For example, real world scenario, students having attendance variable more than 75 and grade variable or marks variable more than 65 are passed. So based upon two variables you have to see out passed, isn't it? How to implement these couple of conditions in programming? So in order to implement that, ANDing and ORing in terms of conditions, so we have logical operators available for our utilization. Logical and logical or. For example, as we have discussed earlier as well, and और ट्रुथ टेबल भी थोड़ा सा हमने क्विकली बना लिया था. And किस केस में ट्रू होते हैं? If both are true, only then overall it is true. And what about or?
Anyone.
If any of the condition is true, the overall result is true. So we can implement that thing over here. If student is exactly equal to 1 and marks greater than equal to 70, increment in boost. It could be one of the conditions. Or की example देखें. If semester average is greater than equal to 90 or final exam greater than equal to 90, student gets a नष्ट के स्टेटस नहीं है. Saying semester average ले लें या फाइनल एग्जाम ले लें, नष्ट में यहाँ एंड है, ठीक है. तो सेमेस्टर एवरेज ले लें आप ज़्यादा या फाइनल एग्जाम कर लें तो आप कंफर्म मिल जाएगी, ठीक है. इस केस एनी ऑफ द कंडीशन इज ट्रू. आगे देखते हैं एग्जांपल्स. अच्छा, नॉट इक्वल टू आपने कई दफा देख लिया ऑलरेडी. टिपिकली हमने किस में यूज किया? ग्रेड इज नॉट इक्वल टू -1. सेंशनल वैल्यू कंट्रोल लूपिंग. तो ये आप देख सकते हैं. Till the time we have been using this, isn't it? जब तक ग्रेड सेंशनल वैल्यू को इक्वल नहीं है, the next grade is जो भी इनपुट आया उसको डिस्प्ले करने के लिए. अगर आपने कंफ्यूज होना है तो उसको ये भी यूज कर देना. इसका although this should be alternate, so these are same, but we normally use syntax wise both are same. Five exactly equal to 5. True or false? 3 is greater than 6. Overall. 5 is exactly equal to 5. 3 is greater than 6. Overall. True. और लगे. And के केस में it evaluates to false. और के केस में it evaluates to true. तो ये सिंपल अब इसको हम डिफरेंट स्टेटमेंट्स में इनकी इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, एक और प्रॉब्लम मैं आपको बताता हूं कि इफ के अंदर अगर हम यूज करें, फॉर एग्जांपल से लेट मी इलैबोरेट दिस. इन अ कंपनी द एम्प्लॉय विद द पे कोड 4 worked very hard in the previous financial year, so you should get a bonus. So if the employee code is 4, you get a bonus. यहाँ पर कोई प्रोग्रामर उन्होंने किया है, उसको साइन किया गया, इसको कोडिंग कर दिया. You just use the same almost syntax. If pay code equal to 4, डबल इक्वल टू का क्या कर दी, असाइन कर दी. 4 is a non-zero value. Non-zero means if this is always true, तो आपकी पूरी कंपनी को बोनस मिल जाएगा. उसका कोई भी पे कोड है, अगर उसका पे कोड 1 है, 2 है, 3 है, उसको क्या असाइन हो जाएगा पे कोड को? 4 is a non-zero value. if के अंदर true है, anything which equates to non-zero means if is true. Finally, note this thing. Anything which equates to a non-zero value, it means it's true. If it equates to 0, it's false. So it is equated to 4. 4 is a non-zero value. It means if it's true. So it will display you get a bonus. And in this case, pay code set to 4, no matter what it was before. Statement is true since 4 is a non-zero value. Bonus given in every case. तो ये एक प्रॉब्लम है, इसको हमने शुड बी लुकिंग फॉर. ये हमने पहले भी डिस्कस किया था बट एज अ फ्लो. अच्छा, कुछ अल्टरनेट्स अभी हमने डिस्कस किए स्टेटमेंट्स के. तो कैन यू मेक सेंस आउट ऑफ दीस? d minus equal to 4 equivalent to this. So we have equivalent statements. We can use either of these. C is equal to C plus 3 can be written as C plus equals to. But in case of these operators, if you are using increment operator, for example C plus plus or plus plus C, C is a variable. It will only add 1 to the variable C. In this case or in this case. In both the cases. Likewise, if you are using C minus minus, it will only decrement it to, it is same as C minus equal to 1. ये जो आप ऑपरेटर यूज करते हैं, इस कैपेसिटी में या इस कैपेसिटी में, it will add 1 or decrement 1 only. If you want to add more than 1, you may write C minus equal to 5. C minus equal to 6, depends upon it. But for these operators, increment operator or decrement operator, either they add 1 or they subtract 1 in this case. Further aspects of the problem: pre-increment, post-increment. In which pre-increment, in which the operator comes before the operand is called pre-increment. Prepaid, postpaid. प्री में आप पहले पे करते हैं, पोस्ट में आपकी बिलिंग हो जाती है. प्री, in which operator comes before the operator. Post, in which operator comes after the operator. इनमें डिफरेंस क्या है? We have to analyze that. Operator before, operator after. In both the cases, operator could be addition operator, operator could be the subtraction. Further देखते हैं. Step by step. C equals to 5. Let's suppose, of course it's an integer. लिख देते हैं. C out plus plus C. So what should be displayed? 6. Again C equals to 5. C out. C plus plus. मगर जब आप इसको डिस्प्ले करेंगे तो ऐसा नहीं होगा. In this case, it will be displayed 6. Fine. But what will happen in this case? 5 will be displayed. Afterwards, variable gets incremented because it's post. In pre, variable will be incremented first and then displayed. Over here, variable will be displayed first and then incremented, which means in next line, if you display C, over here it will be 5, over here it will be 6. This is the difference. You implement it and clarify your doubts as well. So print 5, C then becomes 6. ये सी आउट के साथ है. इन स्टैंड अलोन कैपेसिटी C is 5 फॉर एग्जाम्पल. दोबारा देखें. C is 5 प्लस प्लस C. C out C क्या डिस्प्ले? ये अलग से हो. We are not incorporating in C out. We have used it as a statement. So what should be displayed over here? C की वैल्यू 5 थी प्लस प्लस C. 6. यहाँ पर 6 ही होगा. Either you use this, again C की वैल्यू 5 है, C प्लस प्लस क्या डिस्प्ले होगा? 6. दोबारा समझ. ये हमने C out के साथ डिस्कस किया. I'm repeating it again. I have deliberately kept it as an example. यही चीज आपको इस तरह समझ आएगी कि C equals to 5, C out plus plus C. पहले इंक्रीमेंट करें फिर डिस्प्ले करें. Fine. C is 5. पहले डिस्प्ले करें फिर इंक्रीमेंट करें. Proven. Now we are using it as a statement, not inside C out, isn't it? Yes. Over here it is used as a statement. Now in this scenario, if C is 5, it will be incremented to 6. Sooner or later. So in next statement it should be 6. Same happens with this. If C is 5, it will be incremented to 6 sooner or later. C out C is 6. Just correlate the differences between the two. ये डिफरेंस है.
दोनों केसेस में 6 आएगा.
जी दोनों केसेस में 6 आएगा. C is 5 प्लस प्लस C प्री हुआ या पोस्ट हुआ वो इंक्रीमेंट हो जाता है. नेक्स्ट लाइन यहाँ 6 किया. सेम C is 5 प्री या पोस्ट irrespective of that. That's why मैंने आपको कहा था अगर आपको याद हो C plus equals to 1 और C equals to C plus 1 और C plus plus और plus plus C. All of them add 1. कहा था वो ये चीज either use this way or that way. It will increment 1. In the next line it should be 6. But there is a difference over here. इसको हम प्रोग्राम की एग्जाम फॉर्म में कर लेते हैं. उसके बाद विल हैव अ शॉर्ट ब्रेक. यही बात जो भी हमने सारी डिस्कस की है. C is 5. जी बताएं जी. C out C. C out प्लस C प्लस प्लस. देखिए C पहले डिस्प्ले हो रहा है, इंक्रीमेंट बाद में हो रहा है. C out के साथ है. अभी तो किया है. सुन लेंगे एक बार. सुन लेंगे ये आपके सामने हुआ है. तो यहाँ पर आप लोग ऑपोजिट होगी. C is 5, C out C is 5. C out C plus plus. C की वैल्यू सब क्या है? 5. It has been incremented now. C out C 6. C is 5. C out C 5. C out plus plus C 6. And next line 6. समझ आ गई, मगर प्रैक्टिस ज़रूरी है इसकी, जाएं और उसको ज़रा इक्वेशंस में करें, फिर आपको समझ आएगी। अभी एग्जांपल में आपको ये प्लस प्लस किसी इक्वेशन में कराता हूँ जी। ये आपकी स्लाइड्स में अवेलेबल है जी, ये अवेलेबल है, कोई ऐसी इसमें नहीं है। तो पहले का आंसर है जी 556 एंड देन 566। आफ्टर द ब्रेक वी विल डिस्कस दिस। इसका जिसने आंसर बताया उसको समझ आया। एग्जाम्पल 1, देखिए ऑप्शन नंबर 1 इज x is 3 y is 4। ऑप्शन नंबर 2 इज y is 4 x is 3, ये भी ठीक है। ऑप्शन नंबर सी इज x is 4 y is 4। ऑप्शन नंबर 4 is all of the above are true। ऑप्शन नंबर 5 is none of above। ये हम आफ्टर द ब्रेक डिस्कस करते हैं।